Welcome again, Taurus. It's October 2016. Dadhichi here from astrology.com.au with your monthly dose of celestial influences and what's happening in your life. A lot is going on actually, and from the first of the month there's a new moon taking place in your sixth house of workplace activities. It also is in the company of Jupiter, which is very, very fortunate for you. So anything associated with your work, also your health, will be positively affected by this combination. Now the new moon, as I've mentioned many times before, has a lot to say about the commencement of new things, the projecting forward of new projects, new systems. The sixth house is also, to a large extent, the methodologies that you use in the work that you are conducting. It could also mean new co-workers come into the picture during this particular cycle. And having Jupiter there as well is considered fortunate by many astrologers. So for those of you that have had problems with your health, you've been feeling a little sluggish, your diet hasn't been good, you've sort of become slack, as often we do, with your exercise regime, this is the time to get cracking. And that is also shown by the hard aspect of Mars, which really pushes you forward. The right angle is often not considered a good aspect, but you need these challenging sorts of planetary influences to goad you on, to prod you into the action that you need to change things in your life. And that's precisely what the new moon does here in your sixth house. Now that occurs on the first of the month, and the other interesting thing to note is that Venus, your ruling planet, is transiting the angle, the seventh house, which is very powerful. So this fortifies your health. It brings with it some really, really nice sorts of relationship components. And often, because Venus, your ruler, is the planet of love and beauty, it brings that to the notice of the public. So you should expect to get a few compliments throughout the month of October as a result of this transit of Venus in the seventh house. It stays there in this part of the zodiac up until the 18th, which is just after the full moon, which takes place in your 12th house. Now the 12th house is a charitable house. It's also the house of generosity and secrets. So when the full moon takes place in this location, we can expect to see some opening out and cleansing taking place. It's like opening or turning on the light in a dark room and then being able to suddenly see what's going on there. Because the moon is an emotional planet, I would dare say that you'll start to see some clarification of those elements of your past that may have been a problem. It's very cathartic, and it brings with it some insight. It's also a spiritual house, so leading up to this time and thereafter, that is on the 16th, this full moon is definitely going to have some pretty important ramifications for you in your life. We see that the 12th house also has jurisdiction over immigration, long distance journeys, and it is going to be in the right angle somewhat to the position of Pluto and Mars, which are in the 9th house. So for some of you born under the sign of Taurus, this month could very well herald the plan to travel. Not just to travel, for some of you, you may actually want to make some significant changes, relocating your house, that sort of thing. Moon is the natural significator of domestic affairs, and so we see that that is a very strong aspect for you in that respect. There are some important aspects starting on the 2nd to your ruler, the trine. That's a 120-degree aspect to Neptune, which is in your 11th house. This really is an excellent relationship between your ruling planet and Neptune in the place of friendships, social activities. So what it is you aspire to and you idealize in terms of your friends and love can come to pass during this period. In fact, some of you might not believe your luck, along with that new moon, meeting someone who may actually fit the criteria of what you consider a true friend. Could be a true worker or co-worker as well, because of that new moon in the 6th house of work that we're talking about. We mentioned already that on the 18th that your ruling planet moves up into the sign of Sagittarius, which is the 8th house, and then a lot of your attention is going to be on such things as finances, banking, taxes. Venus will move into the conjunction of Saturn on the 30th, but prior to that we see a difficult aspect to Neptune. What started out as a very idealistic relationship might mean a reality check at that time, or possibly someone else who comes into the picture that is chalk and cheese to the one we just mentioned. And then you're a little bit at, that's around the 26th, leading up to the 28th, we also have a right angle to the North Node, which is indicative of being somewhat out of step with the cultural trends or the trends of your peers. It has to do with your career sector too. So there might be something bothering you there, the way things are run, the type of people that are in your vicinity. I mentioned earlier your workplace activities and co-workers are generally favoured by the new moon and the position of Jupiter. This could have more to do with managers and employers rather than the co-workers themselves, as the 10th house is the authority in your life. So you're going to maybe need to negotiate that and bring all your best diplomatic skills to the table to see you through that particular challenging cycle. But for the most part, this is excellent transits for you: 6th house, 7th house, 8th house and 9th house. All these houses of the horoscope, these departments of your life, seem to be well and truly on track. Don't forget to pop back next month. In the meantime, join me at astrology.com.au. Don't forget that if you haven't seen the introduction, I talk about the what, the how, the when and the why. That is an important component of astrology. I call it destiny engineering, and that is also something I invite you to avail yourself of. A personal consultation with me if you'd like to find out more about what's happening. On a personal note, I'm here and available to help you through whatever it is you need to work through. Take care now. Look forward to your company again next month. Bye-bye.